You know what I've been seeing everywhere lately? It's the morning routine video. You know the ones I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's usually some 20-something tech bro or an influencer on TikTok, and the caption is always something like, "How I Became a Millionaire by 25." And the video itself is just aesthetics.
It's the ice bath, the green juice, the 5-minute journal. It's a formula.
It is a formula. Waking up at 4 a.m., staring into the sun for your circadian rhythm health, and then doing deep work for exactly 90 minutes. And, the implication is always the same. If you just do these 3 or 4 specific behaviors, if you just hack your schedule, you will unlock the cheat code to life.
Mm.
And I have to admit, it's appealing. I watch them and I think, man, if I just bought that specific planner, my entire chaotic life would just fall into place.
It is incredibly appealing because it promises a high return on a very low investment. It's the definition of the quick fix. We are, I think, as a culture, just obsessed with the idea that there is a secret lever we can pull to bypass all the hard work.
Yeah.
But honestly, that frustration you're feeling, that sense that these are just surface-level tricks that don't actually change anything deep down, that is the perfect entry point for what we're covering today.
I'm so glad you said that.
Because the book we are diving into was written specifically as a reaction against that very quick fix culture.
And it's funny because this book is often lumped in with those same self-help titles. It's on the same shelf at the bookstore. But when I actually sat down with the materials you sent over for this deep dive, I realized this is dense.
It is.
It's not a listicle. It's not 5 ways to crush your inbox. We are talking about The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. And honestly, I feel like calling it a business book is almost an insult.
I agree. It's a titan of the genre for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, since it was published in 1989, it has sold something like 40 million copies. It's staggering.
What?
But to your point, it's really a manual on human character. It's about the physics of human effectiveness. And Covey starts the book with a fascinating piece of research that explains exactly why those morning routine videos feel so hollow to us.
Okay.
He didn't just write a book from his own ideas. He went back and analyzed 200 years of success literature in the United States.
Yeah, this part blew my mind. He looked at everything published in the U.S. about success, what it means to be successful since 1776.
Right. He wanted to see how we as a society have defined success over time. And what he found was this very distinct break, almost like a tectonic shift, that happened right around World War I.
Okay, so take us back. What was the focus for that first 150 years, from Benjamin Franklin up to the early 20th century?
So in that early period, the literature focused almost exclusively on what Covey calls the character ethic.
The character area.
Success wasn't about what you did or how you looked or your negotiation tactics. It was about who you were. The books were about integrity, humility, fidelity, temperance, courage, justice.
The big stuff.
The really big foundational stuff. It was about the deep internal construction of the self. The fundamental idea was that if you want to have a happy life, you have to be a good person. The results would flow from the character.
It sounds sturdy, like building a foundation with stone. It's not flashy, but it's not going anywhere.
It wasn't flashy at all. It was slow work.
Oh.
But then, shortly after World War I, the pendulum swung hard in the other direction. We moved into what Covey calls the personality ethic.
Okay, and this is where the hack comes in. This is the fake it till you make it era.
Exactly. This is it.
Right.
Success shifted from being good to looking good. It became a function of public image, of attitudes, of behaviors, skills, and techniques. This is the era of books on how to dress for success, how to intimidate people in negotiations, how to smile correctly to get a sale.
It became about the social lubricant.
That's a great way to put it. It's treating human interaction like a machine. If I just input the right smile and the right handshake, then I get the output I want. And Covey calls these social band-aids. They treat the acute maybe you get the sale, maybe you get the date, but they don't treat the chronic underlying cause. Because if you don't have integrity, eventually people will see through the smile. They'll sense the manipulation.
He uses this farming analogy that I thought was just brilliant to explain why the personality ethic, the quick fix it just doesn't work in the long run.
It's the law of the harvest.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect rebuttal to the cramming culture we live in. I mean, think about school. Can you cram for a test?
Oh, absolutely. That was my entire college strategy. I'm not proud of it, but Do nothing for 3 months, drink 4 Red Bulls, stay up all night, memorize the facts, vomit them onto the page.
Yeah, and you get a grade.
You get a B-minus, and then you forget everything by noon the next day. Gone.
Right. You worked the system.
Yeah.
You got the credential. But did you master the subject? Of course not. Now, apply that same strategy to a farm. Can you forget to plant in the spring, slack off all summer, play video games, and then cram the harvest in late September? Can you pull an all-nighter to make the corn grow?
Definitely not. The corn doesn't care about your power moves or your charisma. It either grew or it didn't. You can't fake the fruit.
Precisely. A farm is a natural system. You cannot fake the harvest. You have to pay the price day in and day out. You plant, you water, you weed, you wait. And Covey's entire argument is that human relationships and character are also natural systems, just like the farm. You can't fake integrity. You can't technique your way into a happy marriage or a loyal team. Eventually, the reality of who you are, what's at your core, will come through.
So if the personality ethic is the quick fix, then the character ethic is the slow grow.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
And to make that shift from personality back to character, we have to understand a core concept that sets up the rest of the book. We have to understand the difference between a map and the territory.
This is the concept of paradigms.
Yes. A paradigm is simply the way we see the world.
Yeah.
Not literally with our eyes, but how we perceive, understand, and interpret reality. It's our mental map.
And the example he gives is so simple, but it lands so well. Imagine you're in Chicago.
Right. You're in Chicago, and you need to get to a specific address. You have a very clear goal. But the map in your pocket, because of a printing error at the factory, is actually a map of Detroit.
Okay, I'm lost already.
Right. Now, think about the personality ethic, those behavior hacks. You could work on your behavior. You could drive faster. You could be really positive and visualize arriving at the destination. You could be the most skilled driver in the world.
But you're still lost. You're just more efficiently lost.
You're actually just getting to the wrong place faster. Attitude and behavior don't matter if the map is wrong. The territory is the reality of the city. The map is your perception of it. If they don't align, you're in trouble.
And the scary part is, we don't usually know we're holding a map of Detroit. We think we see the world as it is. We think we're objective.
Of course.
When I argue with my spouse, I don't think, oh, this is just my perspective. I think I'm right and you were wrong.
That's the trap. We see the world not as it is, but as we are. Our experiences, our background, our conditioning, they all draw the lines on that map for us. And unless we are willing to question our map, to experience what he calls a paradigm shift, we can't really change.
This is where he shares that personal story, right? The one that's probably the most famous anecdote in the book, the subway experience.
Yes. And it perfectly illustrates this.
I've heard this story before, but reading it in context really hit me. So he's in New York. It's a Sunday morning on the subway.
Right. So set the scene. It's quiet. People are reading newspapers. It's peaceful. It's that rare moment of calm in the city. And then at the next stop, a man gets on with his children. And suddenly, the peace is shattered.
Total chaos.
Total chaos. The kids are yelling, they're throwing things, grabbing people's papers. They are running wild.
And the dad, what's he doing?
The dad is sitting right next to Covey, eyes closed, doing absolutely nothing. He's completely oblivious.
Okay, pause. I'm putting myself there. I'm frustrated just hearing about it. My paradigm in that moment is, this guy is a jerk. He's an irresponsible parent. He's letting his kids run wild and ruining everyone's morning. That's my map.
Exactly. And everyone on the train is feeling it. You can feel the tension rising. Covey is getting angrier and angrier. He feels totally justified in his anger. His map says bad parent. Finally, he can't take it anymore. He turns to the man and says, very patiently, he thinks, "Sir, your children are really disturbing a lot of people. I wonder if you couldn't control them a little more."
It's a reasonable request based on the map he's holding. He's correcting a social wrong.
It is. But then the man opens his eyes. He looks at Covey, almost like he's waking up from a dream, and says softly, "Oh, you're right. I guess I should do something about it. We just came from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago. I don't know what to think, and I guess they don't know how to handle it either."
And just like that, the air leaves the room.
Bam. Paradigm shift. In an instant, what happened to Covey's irritation? His anger.
It's gone. Instantly. It wasn't that he tried to be less angry. He didn't have to count to 10 or take a deep breath. The anger just vanished, replaced by compassion. Your wife just died. I'm so sorry. Can I help?
That is the power of a paradigm shift. He saw the territory, the truth of the situation, and his behavior and his feelings changed automatically. Most of us spend our lives trying to change our behavior hacking at the leaves without ever checking if our map is right.
Right. We try to be nicer, but if we still see the other person as the enemy, which is the wrong map, the niceness is just a mask. It's a technique.
It's a technique, and it will fail. So this brings up the next question. If our maps are our perceptions, what is the territory? What is the true north we're supposed to align with?
Principles.
Exactly. Covey calls this the lighthouse principle. Principles are natural laws. Gravity is a principle. You can't argue with gravity. You can't negotiate with it. You can't positive think your way out of it. In human dimensions, principles are things like fairness, integrity, honesty, human dignity. They are external to us. They're not matters of opinion. They just are.
He tells that naval story, the battleship and the lighthouse. I love this visual. It's so clear.
It's a classic. A battleship is moving through heavy fog. The captain sees a light ahead on a collision course and signals, change your course 20 degrees. The response comes back, advisable for you to change your course 20 degrees.
And the captain gets arrogant. I mean, he's in charge of a battleship. He's a big deal. He signals, I'm a captain. Change your course.
And the response is just, I am a seaman second class. You change your course. Now the captain is furious. He signals, I am a battleship. Change your course.
And the final signal comes back.
I am a lighthouse.
You don't move the lighthouse.
You do not. You can't break principles. You can only break yourself against them. If you jump off a building, you don't break gravity. You break yourself. The 7 habits are not just good ideas Covey came up with in the shower. They are his attempt to align our internal maps with these lighthouse principles of human effectiveness.
Okay, so before we get into the habits themselves, there's one more foundational concept we have to nail down. It's the PPC balance, the goose and the golden egg.
Yes, from Aesop's fable. A poor farmer finds a goose that lays a solid golden egg every single day. He's thrilled. He's rich. But he gets greedy. He's impatient. He wants all the eggs now. He doesn't want to wait for one a day. So what does he do?
He kills the goose to get all the eggs out at once.
And, of course, the inside is just goose guts. No more eggs.
Ever. It's the definition of short-sightedness. But how does this apply to us? I mean, we aren't raising magical geese.
Well, in Covey's model, P stands for production. That's the golden egg, the result you want. PC stands for production capability. That's the goose, the asset that produces the result. True effectiveness is the balance between them.
Okay, can we apply this to something real? Like, let's talk about a manager in a team.
Sure. Perfect example. If the manager focuses only on P, production, hitting this quarter's numbers at all costs, he might grind his team into the dust. Mandatory overtime, yelling, stress, cutting corners on quality. He might get the golden egg this quarter. He might get his bonus.
But he's killing the goose.
He's killing the deuce. The team burns out. The best people quit. The culture turns toxic. The equipment breaks down because he didn't do maintenance. So next quarter, no eggs. He destroyed the asset to get the immediate result.
But you can go too far the other way, right? You can focus only on the goose.
Absolutely. If you only focus on PC, keeping everyone happy, never pushing for results, endless training but no execution, buying fancy chairs but never making any sales, you have a very happy, well-fed goose that produces nothing.
And you go out of business.
You starve. You need both. You need to maintain the asset and produce the result. It's a constant balancing act.
Okay, that's the framework. Paradigms, principles, PPC balance. Now, the book is structured in 2 big chunks, the private victory and the public victory.
And the order is non-negotiable. This is crucial. Habits 1, 2, and 3 are the private victory. They are about self-mastery. They take you from a state of dependence, you need to take care of me, to independence, I am responsible for myself.
And you can't have success with other people until you've mastered yourself.
You can't be interdependent until you are independent first. You can't make a commitment to others if you can't even keep a commitment to yourself.
So let's start with habit 1, be proactive.
Now, when most people hear proactive, they think take initiative. They think, oh, I should send that email before my boss asks for it. And that's part of it for sure. But Covey means something much, much deeper. He defines proactivity as responsibility.
Hyphenated. Responsibility, the ability to choose your response.
Exactly. He bases this on the life and work of Viktor Frankl. Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist who was imprisoned in the Nazi death camps during World War II. He experienced things we can barely imagine. His parents, his brother, his wife, all died in the camps. He was tortured, starved, stripped of every human dignity.
It's the ultimate victim scenario. I mean, he had absolutely no control over his environment.
Zero control over the outside. But one day, naked and alone in a small room, he had an epiphany. He realized that the guards could control his environment, his body, his food intake. They could do anything they wanted to him physically. But they could not control how he thought or felt about it.
They couldn't control his inner world.
He called it the last of the human freedoms, the freedom to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances.
This is that famous gap. Between stimulus and response, there is a space.
Yes. In the animal world, there is no space. Stimulus response. A loud noise happens, the dog barks, electricity shocks, the rat runs. It's instinct. But for humans, we have that space. We have self-awareness, imagination, conscience, independent will. In that space, we choose.
It's incredibly empowering, but it's also terrifying. Because if that's true, I can't blame anyone for my bad mood. I can't blame the traffic for my anger.
That is the hard pill to swallow. Reactive people, people who don't use that space, are driven by feelings, by circumstances, by their environment.
He made me so mad. The weather ruined my day. Listen to the language. I have to, I can't, if only.
I have to go to this meeting. I say that all the time.
I don't have to. You could choose not to go. Now, you might get fired, but that's a consequence you choose to risk. You choose to go because you want to keep your job, but you are choosing. Proactive language is I choose, I prefer, I will. It claims ownership of that space.
He talks about the circle of concern versus the circle of influence here. This is a great visual for this idea. This is the best way to visualize habit 1 in action. Imagine a big circle. That's your circle of concern. Inside it is everything you care about. The national debt, the war overseas, the weather, what your annoying neighbor thinks of you, celebrities, politics.
Most of which I have zero control over. I can't change the weather no matter how much I complain about it.
Right. Now, inside that circle, draw a smaller circle. That's your circle of influence. These are the things you can actually do something about. Your habits, your work ethic, your attitude, how you treat your kids, what you read, the skills you develop. Proactive people focus their energy only on the circle of influence.
And by doing that, the circle gets bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It expands.
Yeah.
Because people see you are effective, they trust you more, they give you more responsibility, your influence grows. Reactive people, on the other hand, focus on the circle of concern. They obsess over politics they can't change, or gossip. They spend all their energy yelling at the TV. And what happens? They neglect the things they could change. Their health, their skills, the influence shrinks.
There's a biblical example he uses here. The story of Joseph. It really brings this to life.
It's a perfect case study. Joseph is sold into slavery by his own brothers. I mean, talk about a bad break. He's in a foreign land, a slave. He could have spent his whole life railing against his brothers, against the injustice. It's not fair. I'm a victim.
Which would be his circle of concern. He couldn't change it.
He couldn't. But he didn't do that. He focused on his circle of influence. He worked hard. He became the best administrator in Potiphar's house. He focused on being rather than having.
And eventually he's running the whole country of Egypt.
Because he expanded his influence from the inside out. Habit 1 is the declaration. I am the programmer. I am in charge of me.
Which leads us directly to habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. So if habit 1 is I am the programmer, habit 2 is write the program.
Yes. And to get us to really think about how to write that program, Covey takes us to a funeral.
This is a visualization exercise, and I'll be honest, when I read this part, I actually closed my eyes and tried it. It's uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your own mortality.
It's supposed to be uncomfortable. He asks you to imagine you walk into a chapel. There are flowers, soft music. You see the faces of friends and family. You feel the shared sorrow. You walk down the aisle to look in the casket, and you realize it's you. It's your funeral 3 years from today.
That's a gut check right there.
A huge one. He asks you to sit down and look at the program. There are 4 speakers, a family member, a friend, a work associate, and someone from your community or a group you volunteer with. And then he asks the big question. What would you want them to say about you?
Not what will they say if you died today, but what is your ideal? What do you want them to be able to say truthfully about your character and your contributions?
Right. Do you want your work associate to say he was always on time and he checked his emails on weekends? Or do you want them to say he was a mentor who acted with integrity and lifted everyone around him? Do you want your family to say, we never saw him because he was always busy? Or he was our rock, our greatest cheerleader?
It forces you to define what true success actually looks like for you personally.
It strips away all the social noise. When you're looking at your own casket, you don't care about how many followers you had on Twitter or if you had the nicest car in the neighborhood. You care about relationships and contribution. This is all based on the principle that all things are created twice. There's a mental creation, the blueprint, and then a physical creation, the building. If you don't make a conscious first creation, If you don't write your own script based on those funeral values, you will be lived by the scripts of others.
You'll be a character in someone else's play.
Your parents' play, your boss's play, society's play. You'll climb the ladder of success only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall.
And the tool for this first creation is the personal mission statement.
Yes, it's a personal constitution. It's a way to codify those values. And he suggests writing it based on roles and goals. You aren't just one thing. You are a parent, a manager, a friend, a community member. What do you want to achieve in each of those roles? This prevents you from winning in one area of life, like business, but failing in another, like your family. It keeps you balanced.
Okay, so habit 1, I'm in charge. Habit 2, here is the blueprint. That brings us to habit 3. Put first things first. Now we actually have to build the house.
Habit 3 is the physical creation. It's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
This is all about personal management, and this is where we get the famous time management matrix.
I feel like everyone has seen this 4-square grid, but very few people actually live by it. You know, it's on every office wall, but we still ignore it.
We do. So it's divided by 2 factors, urgency and importance. Urgent means it's pressing on you, a ringing phone, a crying baby. It requires immediate attention. It's loud.
Okay.
Important means it contributes to your mission, your values, your high priority goals, the things you defined in habit 2.
So let's break it down. Quadrantly is urgent and important.
These are your crises, deadlines, the house is on fire, your kid is sick, you have to be there. We spend a lot of time here managing problems. If you ignore these, you die or you get fired.
Okay, then quadrant 2. This is urgent, but not important. This is the deceptive one, I think.
This is the phantom quadrant 1. It feels important because it's urgent and it's buzzing. It's the email that pops up. It's the coworker stopping by your desk to gossip about the weekend. It's other people's priorities being imposed on you. Most people spend their lives bouncing between I and third.
They're addicted to urgency.
Completely. They think they are busy, which they are, but they aren't effective. They're just spinning their wheels on things that don't matter in the long run.
And then quadrant 4 is not urgent and not important.
This is the escape hatch. Doom scrolling, mindless TV, time wasters. This is where we go to hide when we're burned out from all the stress of living in quadrants 1st and 3rd.
But the magic, the holy grail, is quadrant 2.
Not urgent, but important.
Give me examples of quadrant 2 activities.
Exercise, building relationships with your kids or your partner, long-term planning, preventative maintenance on your car or your health, writing that mission statement, reading a book like this one. No one is screaming at you to do these things. The phone isn't ringing for them. But they are the things that actually move the needle in your life.
But the problem is, because they aren't urgent, we don't do them. We constantly put them off. I'll exercise tomorrow. I'll plan the strategy next week.
Exactly. We react to urgent things. We have to act on non-urgent things. That takes habit 1, proactivity. Effective people shrink quadrant by spending more time in quadrant 2. They do the preventative maintenance so the car doesn't break down in the first place.
They prevent the fire before it starts.
And they stay out of quadrants the 3rd and 4th entirely. They learn to say no.
And to do that, you have to get comfortable with the word no.
You have to. You can't say yes to the important things unless you say no to the unimportant but urgent things. And you can only do that if you have a burning yes inside you, your mission from habit 2. If you don't know what matters most to you, the loudest things will always win your attention.
There's a story in this chapter about delegation that I think every parent, actually every manager needs to hear. The green and clean story. It felt like a punch in the gut because I've been the bad manager in this story so many times.
Oh, this is a masterclass in leadership and trust. So Covey decides to delegate the care of their yard to his 7-year-old son, Stephen. Now, he could have done what he calls gopher delegation.
Right, go for this, go for that.
Exactly. Go pick up that stick, go water that spot, go empty the trash.
Which is how most of us manage. We hover, we micromanage. Do it this way. No, not like that. Do it now.
We treat people like robots, and then we wonder why they aren't engaged. Instead, Covey uses stewardship delegation. He focuses on results, not methods. He tells his son, I want the yard green and clean. He walks him around. He shows him what green grass looks like. He shows him what a clean yard looks like. Then he says, you're the boss. I am just your helper. You judge yourself.
He sets the standard, provides the resources, and then he steps back, which must have been so hard.
The hardest part. Saturday comes. The yard is a mess. Nothing has been done. Sunday, still a mess. Tuesday, the grass is starting to turn yellow. There are candy wrappers everywhere. Covey is dying inside. He wants to go out there and yell, pick up the garbage. You're grounded.
That's the gopher instinct. It would be faster if I just did it myself, or I'll just force them.
But he resists. He honors the agreement. Finally, he asks, "Son, how is it going?" And the son just breaks down crying. He says, "It's so hard." He knew the standard, but he was overwhelmed. He didn't have the habit yet. So Covey asks, "What was our agreement? You said I could be your helper." And the son sniffs and says, "Pick up that piece of trash."
And Covey does it.
He does it silently. He didn't lecture. He didn't say, "I told you so." He supported. And once the son saw that his dad wasn't going to take over, but was there to help him succeed, the switch flipped. The son took ownership. He kept that yard perfect all summer.
Wow.
That is PPC balance in management. You invest time up front in training and trust the PC to get incredible results later. The P without constant supervision.
That wraps up the private victory. We've moved from dependence to independence. We are self-mastered. Now we open the door to the world, the public victory.
Habits 4, 5, and 6. This is all about interdependence. But before we get there, Covey lays down a metaphor that I think is one of the most useful things in the entire book. The emotional bank account.
I use this metaphor all the time. It explains so much about why some relationships work and others just fail.
It's so simple and so powerful. Trust in a relationship is a bank account. Every interaction is either a deposit or a withdrawal. When I am kind to you, when I keep a promise, when I take time to understand you, when I apologize sincerely, I make a deposit. The balance goes up.
And when the balance is high?
Communication is easy. It's effortless. I can make a mistake. I can say the wrong thing or be a little grumpy one day, and you'll forgive me because you know my heart. You trust my intent. I have reserves in the account to cover the withdrawal.
But when I'm unkind, or I break a promise, or I ignore you, or I'm arrogant?
Withdrawal. And if I make too many withdrawals, the account becomes overdrawn. Now, every single word I say is filtered through a lens of mistrust. You're walking on eggshells around me. You're reading between the lines. What did he really mean by that? Is he trying to manipulate me?
All the efficiency is gone.
It's gone. You have to spend all your time interpreting politics and navigating minefields instead of actually getting work done or enjoying the relationship.
And the kicker here, the part that's really hard, is that you don't get to decide what counts as a deposit. The other person does.
Right. This is so crucial. I might think buying you flowers is a huge deposit. But if what you really needed was for me to listen to you for 10 minutes without interrupting, then the flowers might feel like a cheap way to avoid a real conversation. It could even be withdrawal. You have to understand the other person to know what constitutes a deposit for them.
So with our accounts funded, we can now move to habit 4. Think win-win.
This is the habit of interpersonal leadership. Covey outlines 6 paradigms of human interaction, but the most common one, the one we were all scripted in from birth, is win-lose.
We are programmed for this.
Totally. Sports, school grading curves. If I get an A, there are fewer A's for everyone else. If I win the game, you lose. We see life as a zero-sum game. There's only so much pie, and if you get a piece, that's less for me.
He tells a story about a race to Bermuda in a company that just nails this.
Yeah, a manager put all his employees in a competition. Whoever sells the most this month wins an all-expenses-paid trip to Bermuda. One winner. Everyone else loses. And then he wondered why they weren't cooperating, why they were hiding leads from each other and sabotaging their teammates.
He created a win-lose environment and then got shocked when he got win-lose behavior.
Of course, he pitted them against each other. Then there's lose-win, the doormat.
Right. I'm a peacemaker. Just step on me. I'll lose so you can win. This is weak. It leads to resentment and eventual explosion. It's not sustainable at all.
No, because you're suppressing your own feelings, and they will come out eventually, often in ugly ways.
And then there's lose-lose, the divorce story. This one is just pure spite.
Oh, the vindictiveness of it is chilling. The judge ordered the husband to sell all the assets and give half the cash to his ex-wife. He was so angry, so stuck in win-lose, that he decided he wanted to hurt her even if it hurt him more. He sold a $10,000 car for $50.
No way.
Yes, just so he could give her $25. He lost thousands of dollars just to make sure she lost too. That is the insanity of the lose-lose paradigm.
So win-win is the only viable option for long-term healthy relationships.
Win-win means we both eat. It means we are looking for a solution that is mutually beneficial. But Covey adds a critical kicker to this: win-win or no deal.
That's the superpower. That's the freedom.
It is. If we can't find a solution that benefits us both, we agree to disagree agreeably. No deal. This is incredibly liberating. It means I don't have to manipulate you to get my way, and I don't have to capitulate to your way. If we can't win together, we just don't play.
We don't hire each other. We don't sign the contract. We walk away, friends.
It takes all the pressure off the negotiation. But to really do this, to live this, you need what he calls an abundance mentality.
As opposed to the scarcity mentality.
Yes, most people have a scarcity mentality. They see life as that finite pie. If you get a big piece of recognition, there is less for me. It's hard for them to be genuinely happy for the success of others. They secretly hope others fail. The abundance mentality says there is plenty out there for everyone. It flows from that deep inner security you built in the private victory.
Which brings us to habit 5. And Covey says this is the single most important principle he has learned in the entire field of interpersonal relations. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
And it's the one we are all worst at. It is so counterintuitive to how we're wired.
He uses the optometrist analogy, which is just perfect.
Right. Imagine you go to an eye doctor. You say, "Doc, I'm having trouble seeing." And before doing any tests, he takes his glasses off his own face, hands them to you and says, "Here, these work great for me. I've been wearing them for 10 years. Try them on."
And you put them on, and it's a complete blur. You say, "Doc, I can't see a thing. It's actually worse."
And he gets mad. "What's the matter with you? You're so ungrateful. I'm trying to help you. Just try harder. Think positively."
It's absurd. In medicine, we would sue that doctor for malpractice, but we do it in conversation every single day.
We prescribe before we diagnose. We listen with the intent to reply, not with the intent to understand. We're running what he calls autobiographical responses. We filter everything through our life story. Someone starts talking about a problem, and our immediate response is, "Oh, I know exactly how you feel. I went through the same thing."
You think that's bad? Wait until you hear about my day. Or we jump straight to advice. You know what you should do.
Exactly. We evaluate, we agree or disagree, we probe, we ask questions from our own frame of reference, we advise, we interpret, all from our own map. Covey calls for empathic listening.
Listening with the eyes and the heart, not just the ears.
It's giving the other person psychological air. And think about it. If all the air was suddenly sucked out of this room right now, would you care about this deep dive?
No, I'd be clawing for breath. It would be the only thing I cared about.
Survival's the only thing that matters. But once you have air, you don't even think about it. Covey says the deepest psychological need of the human soul is to be understood, to be affirmed. If you don't give people psychological air, if you don't listen deeply to them, they will fight for it. And they won't hear a single word you say until they get it.
He gives a great dialogue example of a father and son. The son comes home from school, slams his bag down. School is for the birds. It's totally impractical.
And the typical dad response is logic. You need an education to get a job. Or advice. You just need to apply yourself more. Or denial. You don't really feel that way.
And what happens? The son shuts down. You don't get it, Dad. He fights for air. He escalates. But the empathic response is to reflect the feeling back.
The dad just says, "You're really frustrated," or "You feel like it's a total waste of time." He's not agreeing or disagreeing. He's just mirroring the emotion he's hearing.
It feels risky, like you're just parroting them or that you're validating a bad attitude.
It feels awkward at first.
Look.
But when the son feels understood, when he gets that psychological air, he starts to peel back the layers of the onion. He realizes he doesn't have to fight to be heard anymore. And eventually, in the story, the son admits the real problem. "Dad, I took a reading test today, and I'm at a 4th grade level. I'm embarrassed."
And the dad never would have uncovered that if he had started lecturing about the importance of college. He would have been treating the symptom, the bad attitude, instead of the root cause, which was shame and fear.
Never. You cannot solve a problem if you don't know what the real problem is. Seek first to understand. Once the person feels truly and deeply understood, they become open to your influence. Then and only then can you seek to be understood.
And once we really understand each other, once the defenses are down, we can finally move to habit 6. Synergize.
This is the magic. This is where the miracles happen. Synergy is when 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or 100. It's when the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's the catalytic reaction that creates something new.
And it's not compromise. I think we confuse the two all the time.
Compromise is 1 + 1 = 1.5.
Yeah.
We both give something up to meet in the middle. It's a low form of win-win. It's transactional. Synergy is transformational. It's creating a third alternative that is better than what either of us started with.
It's rooted in valuing differences, isn't it?
That's the essence of it. If two people have the same opinion, one is unnecessary. If I hire you and you agree with everything I say, why am I paying you? I don't need a clone. I need your different perspective, your different map, so that together we can see the whole territory more clearly.
He uses the animal school fable here to illustrate this point.
I love this one. The animals organize a school to help the young animals deal with the problems of the new world. They create a standardized curriculum: running, climbing, swimming, and flying.
Okay. And the duck is a star swimmer.
Better than the teacher, in fact. But he's poor at running. So the administration makes him stay after school every day to practice running. They make him drop swimming practice to focus on his weakness.
Oh, no.
His webbed feet get so badly damaged from running on hard ground that he becomes only average at swimming.
But the school is happy because average is acceptable.
Right. And the rabbit starts at the top of the class in running, but has a nervous breakdown from all the makeup work in swimming. It illustrates the stupidity of enforcing uniformity. Synergy isn't about making everyone the same. It's about letting the bird fly, the squirrel climb, and the duck swim, and combining those unique strengths to do something none of them could do alone.
Finally, we reach habit 7, sharpen the saw. This is the circle that surrounds all the other habits and makes them possible.
The metaphor is so simple. A man is in the woods, sawing down a tree. He's been at it for 5 hours. He's exhausted. The saw is dull. A passerby watches for a minute and says, "Why don't you stop for a few minutes and sharpen the saw? You'd cut it down so much faster." And the man replies, "I can't. I'm too busy sawing."
We are that man. We are too busy driving to stop and get gas.
We are. Habit 7 is preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have, which is yourself. It involves renewing 4 dimensions of your nature: physical, exercise, nutrition, stress management; spiritual, clarifying your values, meditation, spending time in nature; mental, reading, learning, writing; and social emotional, service, empathy, making deposits in others' emotional bank accounts.
It's the daily private victory all over again.
It is. If you don't sharpen the saw, your body becomes weak, your mind becomes mechanical, your emotions become raw, and your spirit becomes insensitive. You lose the capacity to practice the other 6 habits effectively. Renewal creates an upward spiral. It gives you the capacity to learn, commit, and do on a progressively higher plane.
So that's the framework. But Covey wraps this whole thing up with a concept he calls inside out. And he shares a story about his own marriage that really grounds the whole book. It shows that even the expert struggles with this stuff.
This brings it all home. He was on sabbatical in Hawaii. He was wandering through a library and found a book with that line we mentioned earlier. Between stimulus and response, there is a space.
The concept that started this whole journey.
Yes. And he had this profound realization that he could apply that to his marriage. He and his wife Sandra started spending 2 hours a day on a motorcycle, riding to a quiet beach, just talking. Deep empathic communication.
And there's a specific detail about appliances that was fascinating.
Right. He noticed that Sandra had this script where she would obsessively wash the washing machine, or she would hesitate to buy new appliances even when they desperately needed them. It seemed irrational to Covey. He judged it. Why are you being so weird about the dishwasher? That was his map.
But when they finally talked, when he really listened with the intent to understand using habit 5, he found out why.
Her father had been an appliance dealer who went broke during the Great Depression. During his hardest years, the only thing that kept the family afloat was the inventory financing on the appliances in his store. To her, as a child, appliances represented financial survival and the terror of losing everything. It was a deep, emotional trauma response.
And Covey had no idea he'd been married to her for years.
No idea. Once he understood her map, his judgment vanished. He saw it not as irrational behavior, but as a deep loyalty to her father. It transformed their relationship. That is the power of inside out. You don't change the marriage by trying to fix your spouse's behavior. You change it by fixing your own paradigms, your own ability to listen, your own character.
There's a quote by Thoreau he uses: "For every 1,000 hacking at the leaves of evil, there is one striking at the root."
That is the entire message of the book. Don't hack at the leaves of behavior and attitude. Don't look for the quick fix or the morning routine hack. Strike at the root of who you are, your character, your paradigms.
So here's the challenge for you, for everyone listening. Covey says the best way to learn this material is to teach it.
Within 48 hours. Take one thing you've heard today, maybe the PPC balance or the emotional bank account or the 4 quadrants, and explain it to someone. Your spouse, a colleague, a friend. When you teach, you internalize it on a whole new level.
And start with the private victory. Don't go home tonight and tell your partner they need to think win-win. Go home and work on your own. Be proactive. Or seek first to understand.
Be a lighthouse. Principles don't change. Align yourself with them.
This has been a massive download, but I feel like my map is a little more accurate than it was an hour ago. Thanks for guiding us through it.
It was a pleasure. Powerful stuff.
Check your maps, everyone. We'll see you in the next deep dive.